Good morning. Welcome to our daily devotion. It is Wednesday, March 10th. As always, I thank those of you that are committed to these devotions, those of you that have made a commitment to spend time with God every day. That is just so awesome, so awesome. Something I've done a very big part of my life. Good morning, Serena. Something I've done a big part of my life, and I pray that you will honor that commitment and keep spending time with God. We're going to talk about God this morning. So we're in Matthew 16:11. I want to read verse 27. Good morning, Marcy. It says this: all things have been committed to me. This is Jesus talking. By my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. So Jesus is saying here, no one knows God except him, because he's actually been in the presence of God. Good morning, Anna. Good morning, Grace. I don't know how, maybe it's just me, but I often just sit there and dwell on who God really is. I sit there and think, God had no beginning. No beginning. Our minds can't even comprehend that God will have no end, but then neither will we. The fact that he created the world, and listen to this, they say the world is estimated to be about 4.5 billion years old. God created it 4.5 billion years ago. And our universe is created 13.5 billion years ago. So in billions of years that he created the universe. Humans have only existed for 6,000 to 10,000 years, dating back to Adam and Eve. So how big is our God that he was able to literally speak the universe into existence, making everything out of nothing? Our human minds can't grasp this. And the reason that I think of this a little bit more now is, I have my brother staying with me who's dying of cancer, and I sit there and think, it's sad seeing him waste away. He only weighs like 115 pounds now. When we wash him, it's just skin over bones. But soon, and very soon, he is going to be in the presence of that God. It's hard to feel sorry for him when I know what lies ahead of him. Listen to what it says here in 2 Peter 3:8. It says, do not forget this one thing, dear friends. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. We're confined by time where God is not. So to us, 1,000 years is just like, oh my gosh, that's way over. If 10 generations in a row lived to be 100 years old, like my mother did, that would take just 10 generations. And yet to God, that's like one day, it says. Because God is not limited by time or space or anything like that. In Psalm 90, verse 4, it says this too, again, for 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. 1,000 years is nothing to God. So when we sit there and think that God created the universe 13.5 billion years ago, that just like seems like forever. But not to our God. Not to our God. That's why he says here in Isaiah 55:8-9, it says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. As the universe is big, God is big. As the universe is created billions of years ago, God existed billions of years ago. It's just our finite minds just can't comprehend this. And we will never understand, listen to this, we will never understand until we actually die. And our spirits get to be in the presence of that God. And so the question is, what will we see? What will we see? A man? I don't know. We know what we'll see when we see Jesus. Jesus was a God in human flesh. He was a man. We'll know Jesus, but what will we see when we see God? Listen to this in Revelation. The Apostle John, and this was 2,000 years ago, God sent an angel to give John visions of everything, visions of the end times, and told John to write down what he saw. He didn't tell John what it was, he just said, write down what you see. And so John was trying to describe things the best way he could. So we read where John tries to describe warfare, and he said it was like a giant iron eagle spewing fire from its mouth and from its tail. He's trying to describe something. He's trying to describe probably a jet or an Apache helicopter that's sending missiles out. How would he know what 2,000 years ago, how would he know what that was? All he ever saw was a horse and a carriage. He had no idea. He never saw automobiles, never saw planes, never saw jets. So he's trying to describe it the best way that he can. Well, he's showing the throne in heaven. Okay, John is showing the throne in heaven, and he's going to try to describe it. Now, again, we're not going to understand what he's talking about because he didn't know what he was seeing. So let's just read this. It's in Revelation chapter 4. I'm going to read verses 1 through 11. It's quite a bit of reading, but maybe it'll help you to understand what is it that we're going to see when we see God. It says, after this I looked, and there before me was a door standing open in heaven. And the voice I had first heard speaking to me like a trumpet said, come up here, and I will show you what must take place after this. At once I was in the Spirit, and there before me was a throne in heaven, with someone sitting on it. And the one who sat there had the appearance of jasper and carnelian. A rainbow representing an emerald encircled the throne. Surrounding the throne were 24 other thrones, and seated on them were 24 elders. They were dressed in white and had crowns of gold on their heads. What is John seeing? From the throne came flashes of lightning, rumblings, and peals of thunder. Before the throne 7 lamps were blazing. These are the 7 spirits of God. Also before the thrones was what looked like a sea of glass, clear as crystal. In the center around the throne were 4 living creatures, and they were covered with eyes in the front and in the back. The first living creature was like a lion, the second was like an ox, the third had a face like a man, the fourth like a flying eagle. Each of the 4 living creatures had 6 wings and was covered with eyes all around. What the heck was John seeing? What was he seeing? He's trying to describe God. He's trying to describe God, just like he tried to describe a jet, calling it an iron eagle. He's trying to describe God. God has given him a vision of himself, and he's trying to describe God. What did John see? What will you see? Some of you are getting close to leaving this earth. I'm getting close to the. This is, I mean, it sounds morbid sometimes, but this is why I'm a little bit excited about it. How could you not be excited about dying and getting to be in the presence of God? Getting to be in the presence of a God that always was. In the presence of a God that created our earth 4.5 billion years ago. It spoke it into existence. In the presence of God that spoke our universe into existence 13.5 billion years ago. How could you not be excited to one day be in his presence and see God for who he really is. What will we see? A man? A person? I don't know. I honestly don't know. No, I know it says when God created man, he said, let us make man in our image, the image of God. I know we're made in God's image. That doesn't mean we look just like God. What will we see? We have a great idea of what we'll see when we get to see Jesus. He will be a human like us. But what will we see when we see God? I can't speak for you, but we will never know until we're actually in his presence. And that's why I look forward. I actually look forward to dying and to see, to be in the presence of that God. A God that was able to create everything that is and was and that we don't see. How big is that God? Think about that. It'll help you not to be afraid of dying. My brother's chances are, is gonna beat me. He's gonna beat me into heaven. He's gonna get to see God before I do. My mom, my oldest brother, got to see God before me. They're in the presence of that God now. What are they seeing? And Al is in the presence of that God. What is that like? What is he seeing? Something to think about. God bless you all. Thanks for watching. Tonight is our message for the youth for Crash. Otherwise, I'll see the rest of you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. As always, I ask if you'd be willing to share this so we can get the news out to as many people as we can. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Grace. Good morning, Will. Have a great, great day, all of you. I couldn't golf today. It's raining. So I'll be working on lessons all day. Have a great day.